Hello student, welcome to our first e-lesson. The material that we're gonna cover during this week, March 15 to March 19, will be topic 8, multiplying fractions and mixed numbers. And the lessons are 8.1, 8.3, 8.4. First, we'll start with the first lesson, 8.1, multiplying a fraction and a whole number. Let's take the first example. How can you multiply a fraction and a whole number? A recipe makes 12 soft pretzels. If Ellen sprinkles Parmesan cheese as a topping over 2/3 of the baked pretzels, how many cheese pretzels will Ellen make? So we need to multiply 2/3 times 12. So I will write the fraction 2/3 times 12. The first thing I need to do is to change the whole number into a fraction by making it over 1. The second step is I try to simplify before I multiply. I need to simplify any numerator with any denominator that is possible. Pay attention, I cannot simplify numerator with numerator. For example, here I cannot simplify the 2 with the 12, but I can simplify the 2 either with 3 or the 12 with 3. In this option, I can simplify 12 and 3 by dividing both of them by 3. So that's what I will do. I'm going to divide here by 3 and here by 3. The next step, I will rewrite the fractions. So it's going to be 2 over 3 divided by 3, it's equals to 1, times 12 divided by 3 equals to 4 over 1. After simplifying, I need to multiply the numerator by the numerator and the denominator by the denominator. So here I will do 2 times 4 equals 8, and then 1 times 1 equals 1. So the answer is 8 over 1, which is equals to 8. Please, if you got an answer 8 over 1, write it 8, because 8 over 1 is an improper fraction. So you write it as a whole number as the final answers. Let's take another example. 40 times 3 over 8. So, as we said before, the first step, the whole number, I will make it as a fraction. So 40 will be 40 over 1 times 3 over 8. I try to simplify any numerator with any denominator. I see that I can simplify 40 and 8 by dividing them by 5, both of them. So I'm going to divide, I divide them by 8. I can divide both of them by 8. So I'm going to divide here by 8 and here by 8. And then I will rewrite the fractions. 40 divided by 8 equals 5 over 1 times 3 over 8 divided by 8 equals to 1. And then the answer will be 15 over 1 equals 15, because I multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. If I will try the other example, I'm gonna choose different color. So guys, 4 over 7 of 28 means 4 over 7 times 28. So the of means a multiplication in this case. So this one I can write it 4 over 7 times 28. Of course, I'm gonna make the whole number as a fraction, so it's 28 over 1. Alright, I'm gonna try again to simplify any numerator with any denominator. I can do it with 28 and 7. I will divide both of them by 7. So divided by 7, divided by 7. And then I'm gonna rewrite the fractions. So it's gonna be 4 over 1 times 4 over 1. And the answer will be 16 over 1 equals to 16. Okay, let's take another example. 6 out of 24 of 5. So I will write it again. 6 out of 24 times 5 over 1. Okay, remember, we can simplify any numerator with any denominator. I cannot simplify the 5 and the 24, but I can do the 6 and the 24. So even if it's in the same fraction, I can simplify up and down. I can simplify by 6 up and down. So I'm going to do here divided by 6, divided by 6, and then I will rewrite the fractions. So it's going to be 1 out of 4 times 5 out of 1. And then I multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So I'm going to get here 5 over 4, which is an improper fraction. Remember, if it's an improper fraction, I need to change it into a mixed number. So it's going to be equals to, if you forgot how to change it to a mixed number, I will try to divide. It's going to be 5 divided by 4, which is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract. So it's going to be 1, and the remainder is 1. So this one here, the quotient, goes here outside, which is going to be a whole number. In the fraction, the denominator, I don't change it. So it was 4, so I'm going to keep it 4. And then the remainder, it goes up as a numerator. So the answer is 1 over 4. Okay, let's try the other example. 18 times 9 out of 20. Also, just like we said, the 18, I will make it 18 over 1 times 9 out of 20. I will try to simplify any numerator with any denominator. I can simplify 18 and 20 by 2. So, divide by 2, divide by 2. I will rewrite the fractions. So, it's going to be 9 over 1 times 9 over 10. I need to check again if I can do any more simplification or not. If not, I will multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. 9 times 9 is 81 over 1 times 10 is 10. Again, it's an improper fraction. I need to change it into a mixed number by doing the division. So it's 81 divided by 10 equals to 8. 8 times 10 equals to 80. And the remainder is 1. So the quotient, which is the whole number, and then in the fraction part, the denominator stays the same, which is 10, and the remainder goes up into the numerator, and this will be the answer. This is the end of the first lesson. Now we're going to move on to the second lesson, 8.3, which is multiplying fractions. This means that I need to multiply fractions by fractions. Let's look at this example. How do you find products of fractions? Paige is planting 3/4 of her garden with flowers, and 2/3 of the flowers she plants will be morning glories. What fractions of the garden will be planted with morning glories? Remember, guys, that 3/4 of her gardens are flowers. So this means these are the flowers, 3/4. And then they say 2/3 of these flowers means 2/3 of the 3/4 are morning glories. 2/3 of the 3/4 are morning glories. I want to know the fraction of the morning glories. So I need to multiply 2/3 times 3/4. Already here we have a fraction by fraction. There is nothing to be done before I start simplification. Also here I need to simplify before I multiply. I try to simplify any numerator with any denominator. So it's going to be here. I can simplify 2 with a 4. So I divide by 2. divided by 2. And also the 3 and the 3, I can divide them by 3, both of them. So it's divided by 3, divided by 3. I will rewrite both fractions. 2 divided by 2, it's 1. 3 divided by 3, it's 1. Times 3 divided by 3, it's 1. 4 divided by 2, it's 2. Okay? And then I will multiply numerator by numerator and denominator by denominator. So it's going to be 1 times 1 is 1, and then 1 times 2 is 2. And the answer is half. We'll take another example. These are all multiplying fraction by fraction. Remember, the first rule is try to simplify as much as possible before I go into the multiplication, because sometimes, if you can see here in the first example, I need to do 7 times 16 and 8 times 21. It will be very hard for us later to get the final answer correct. So simplifying is very important before I start with the multiplication. In the first example, 7 out of 8 times 16 out of 21. I can simplify, let's say 7 and 21 by 7. So I'm going to divide by 7, divide by 7, and the 8 and 16 by 8. So I'm going to divide by 8, divide by 8. And then I will rewrite. So this will be 1. 7 divided by 7, it's 1. 8 divided by 8, it's 1. 16 divided by 8, it's 2. And 21 divided by 7, it's 3. And then I multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. 1 times 2, it's 2. 1 times 3, it's 3. It's in simplest form, and it's a proper fraction. There's nothing I can do more. I'll take another example. 6 out of 7 times 5 out of 12. I can simplify 6 and 12 by 6. So it's going to be divided by 6, divided by 6. 5 and 7, I cannot do any simplification with them. I rewrite the fractions. So 6 divided by 6, it's 1. So it's going to be 1 over 7 times 5 over 6. Sorry, 12 divided by 6, it's 2. We need to be very careful in here. So 12 divided by 6, it's 2. 1 times, and multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. So it's going to be 5 out of 14, and then I'm done. Sometimes, guys, if you didn't complete the simplification in the first step, you may end up having the final answer not in simplest form, so you have to do the simplification later on. So there's no escape from simplification. Either you do it at the beginning or you do it at the end, but you have to do it. So it's doing it at the beginning, it's much easier for us. Now, 9 over 11 times 44 over 45. Of course, now we are much better with simplification, so I can simplify by 11 obviously here, and I can simplify by 9. Okay, now 9 divided by 9, it's 1. 11 divided by 11, it's 1, times 44 divided by 11, it's 4. And then 45 divided by 9, it's 5. I multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator, so it would be 4 out of 5. Okay, basically this is the second lesson. Now we're gonna move on to the third lesson, multiplying mixed numbers, which is 8, 4. Guys, in this lesson we are going to multiply, before I start, we're gonna multiply mixed number by mixed number. We're gonna multiply mixed numbers by fractions. We're gonna multiply mixed numbers by whole numbers. So now we can do everything in this lesson. Let us start by the first example. How can you find the product of mixed numbers? A small can of tomatoes weighs 7 and 1 over 3 ounces each. So 7, 1 over 3 ounces each. Each one of these, 7, 1 out of 3 ounces. How much do 4.5 cans of tomatoes weigh? So I got 4.5. So this one I got it all, and this one all, and this one all, and this one also. These are 4 full cans, and this one I have half filled. So this is 4.5 cans. To be able to know how much they weigh, I need to multiply 1/2 multiplied by 7, 1 out of 3. Remember guys, when I said when I have a whole number, I need to multiply it by a fraction. I need to make it as a fraction and I write it over 1. The same story here when you have a mixed number. When I have a mixed number, I need to change both of them, or anytime we have a mixed number, we need to change it into a fraction. Of course, we do remember how to change a mixed number into a fraction. So here I'm going to multiply and then I'm going to add. So I will end up having 2 times 4, it's 8. 8 plus 1, it's 9. So it's going to be an improper fraction, 9/2. This step is very important to be able to multiply them later on. So you need to change the mixed numbers into an improper fraction. Anyways, here it's going to be also times plus 3 times 7, 21, plus 1, it's going to be 22/3. And then now I have them fraction by fraction. I try to simplify if possible. So I'm going to try to simplify any numerator with any denominator. Here I can, 9 and 3, I can divide them by 3. So this is divided by 3, divided by 3. And then the 2 and 22 I can divide by 2, divide by 2. I will rewrite the fractions. 9 divided by 3 it's 3, 2 divided by 2 it's 1, 22 divided by 2 it's 11, 3 divided by 3 it's 1. And then after finishing the simplification, I multiply numerator by numerator. As you can see here, it's the same rule, alright? There is nothing new except I have to change the mixed number into an improper fraction at the beginning, and then everything will be as is. Anyways, 3 times 11, so it's going to be 33/1. Please guys, don't keep it 33/1 because it's still an improper fraction. Make it as 33, which is a whole number. Let's take another example. As I told you from before, in this lesson, we're gonna explore multiplying a mixed number times a mixed number, like the first example here, and then mixed number by a whole, and then a fraction by a mixed number, let's say. But it's all the same rule. So first, we change to fractions, whether it's a mixed number or whether it's a whole number, we change it to a fraction. And then when you have a fraction by a fraction, we try to simplify, and then we multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. Let's try the first example here. I need to change into improper fraction. 5 times 3, 15. 15 plus 1 is going to be 16/5. Times 4 times 2, it's 8. 8 plus 1, it's 9/4. And then I try to simplify any numerator with any denominator. So let's do it. 16 and 4 we can divide by 4. Divide by 4. 5 and 9 I cannot. That's the only option that I have. So 16 divided by 4 it's 4. Let me rewrite the fractions. Over 5 times 9/1. Now I multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. So it's going to be here 4 times 9, 36/5. 36 divided by 5, it's equals to, I need to change it into a mixed number. Remember guys, an improper fraction, it's not a final answer, so I need to change it into a mixed number. Now, so I divide 36 divided by 5 equals 7. It's going to be 35 and then 1. So the answer has to be 7, which is the quotient. The remainder, it's going to be the numerator, and the denominator, I'm going to keep it the same. That's the final answer. The other example, I have a mixed number and a whole number. Both of them I need to change them to fractions. The mixed number, I multiply 4 times 8, it's going to be 32 plus 1, it's going to be 33/4, times the whole number. To make this fraction, I'm going to make it 12/1. Okay, I try to simplify, so I'm going to simplify the 4 and the 12 by 4. So this is divided by 4, divided by 4. And then I'm going to rewrite. So it's going to be 33 over 1 times 3 over 1. And then I multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. 33 times 3 equals to 99 over 1 equals 99. Okay, now what if you have fraction by mixed number? It's the same rule. So the fraction, I keep it as a fraction. The mixed number, I change it into an improper fraction. 6 times 2, it's 12 plus 1, 13 over 6. I try to simplify. I can simplify here by 3, by 3, and that's it. So it's going to be 1 over 4 times 13 over 2. It's going to be 13 over 8, and then I change it into a fixed number by dividing. So 13 divided by 8 equals to 1, and then you have here 5. The remainder is 5, so it's 1, 5 over 8. One application for this lesson, guys, is that when we have an algebraic expression with the given variables, so we need to evaluate these expressions. This is very easy. Remember, guys, that 3 1 over 5 means 3 1 over 5m means 3 1 over 5 times m. So the operation here is multiplication. In this type of questions, the first step is I have to substitute properly. So I'm going to write 3 1 over 5 times 5 over 7. After I substitute properly, I follow the rules. So I need to change the improper into a fraction. I need to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. 5 times 3, 15, plus 1 is going to be 16 over 5 times 5 over 7. I simplify if possible. Yes, it is possible. So I simplify here by 5 by 5. I rewrite, it's going to be 16 over 1 times 1 over 7. And the answer will be 16 times 1, it's 16. 1 times 7 is equals to 7. I have to divide. So 16 divided by 7 equals to 2. 2 times 7 is 14, and the remainder is 2. So it's going to be here 2 and then 2 over 7. That's the final answer. The other one, it's also, I have to substitute the first step. So m is 4, so it's going to be 4 times 12 times 6 divided by, and then n is 11. I try to simplify. Guys, I said any numerator with any denominator. So here we can simplify the 4 and the 12, or we can simplify the 6 and the 12. It's up to us. So I'm going to try it for a change. I will simplify the 4 and the 12. I give you this example to tell you that you can simplify any numerator with any denominator. 4 divided by 4 is 1, over 12 divided by 4 is 3, times 6 over 11. Now, as you can realize that now I have 3 and 6, I can simplify them. Remember, you have to finish simplification before multiplication, because if I multiplied without finishing the simplification first, then my answer will not be in simplest form, so I need to simplify again. So, like I said before, you either simplify at the beginning or you can simplify at the end, but at the beginning it's much easier. So here we can simplify 6 and 3 again by 3. And then I'm going to rewrite it again. So it's going to be 1 over 1 times 2 over 11. And the answer will be 2 over 11. That's it. This will be the third lesson. And this will be all for this week. Good luck.